Good afternoon. My name is Alun, and this afternoon I'm putting my thumbs up because we are trying a new alternative to Hangouts on Air, and it appears to be working. So that's good. My name is Alun. I'm facilitating the fourth of four sessions of Eotenweard, the Cinema Alliance. I'm going to say nothing about this. Look at the previous videos. We've had several false starts. I'm going to let the players introduce themselves and their characters, and then I'll just summarise where we are starting this session from. So, whoops-a-daisy. There we go. Okay, so can I ask Sabine, would you introduce yourself and your character, please?
I certainly will. Are we live, or do I start and then stop again?
We are live and streaming as we speak. So with that, whether you like, this will be in the video.
Oh, okay. I'm Sabine. I use any pronouns. I am playing Iamon, who is a monster hunter, which means that he travels the country hunting monsters. Usually he is a bit of a loner, but recently he has been attached to the court of Synhamm after helping to break a curse and hunting down several monsters for them. And now the Earl of Synhamm thought it was a good idea to send Iamon and some other people that Iamon knows to the neighboring kingdom of Elmet to broker an alliance against the King PbtA of Lindsey, who is aggressively trying to expand his territory.
Thank you for that. Can we move along to Scott? Tell us about, introduce yourself and tell us about Setia.
Sure, I'm Scott. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Setia, who uses she, her pronouns. Setia is the Loon type, and she's been in a kind of a state of questioning, and I got very close to facing some of the old gods of late, which has moved her closer and closer to being fully unhinged. Luckily, she has a few people who she trusts who we'll see if they're able to keep her grounded or not. Time will tell.
Thank you, Scott. Can we go... Alejandro, can I do you now? Because I want to leave Blake till last.
You may. I am Alejandro. He, him. I'm playing Icinius, a 12-year-old Hispanic Celt boy, also he, him, that is from Spain, from a Romanizing, Christianizing Spain, though he is pagan, and for that his family kicked him out, sold him to slavers. The slavers tried to slave him. Icinius did not like it, and used his abilities, his pagan mystic abilities, to escape. He has then been joined Iamon off and on quests, and now he's on this journey after being away in the swamplands, learning the old ways. I think that's accurate.
Thanks for that, Alejandro. You're quite your volume is quite low. I don't know if you can do anything about that at your end. Do you want to just give that a try?
Can you hear me? How's that?
We can hear you. You're still a little quiet.
Okay.
But that's it. We'll don't worry. We'll manage. And so I'll come to you last, Blake, because Blake, you were in session 2, not in 3. You're back now. Tell us, just introduce yourself and tell us about Ulfric.
Hi, I'm Blake, he, him. I'm playing Ulfric, also he, him, as a Hammer of the God. So something nasty happened to his sister, and he's been hunting the creature or supernaturally enhanced person, whatever it is, since, traveling around Dark Ages England. And yes, I've got no idea how I'm going to re-meet these, so we'll go from there.
Thank you, Blake. So yes, we finished the last session with Icinius, Iamon, and Setia at the court of King Celtic of Elmet. They were being wined and dined and treated honourably there. It is with him that they are seeking the alliance for their lord, the Lord of Synhamm. And we ended at the feast to celebrate their arrival, in which we saw Iamon sat next to the king's daughter, and we saw the character who isn't with us this week, Tuka, sat next to the king, discussing how things might proceed. Setia and Icinius were sat in the body of the hall, and Blake is not yet, Ulfric is not yet on the scene. And we left it last time with the doors of the great hall bursting open, and a man rushing to the front, dropping to his knee, taking a knee before the top table, and declaiming to all and sundry, "My king, there are raids to the east." And at that point, we cut. So can I start with Iamon? What do you do?
Well, okay. Raids to the east. Sounds amazing, because that means we can get out of the social situation. We need a bit more details. I don't know my way around this place, and anyway, it's not my hall, so I guess I'm halfway up. But then I realize I'm guest of honor, and maybe I should let the king ask the questions, because it's his home.
And indeed, Celtic will stand, lean on the table, lean towards the man kneeling on the other side, and say, "Where? What's happened?" And he says, "I have come, my lord, post haste from Wedrebi to the east. And I came because we had news of raids to the villages even further east than that, on the edge of the kingdom. And so I brought this news to you for fear that Wedrebi is at risk as well." And the king will look about him. Anybody want to do anything?
Well, I will tell him, if you need somebody to check this out or to fight for you, in the spirit of cooperation and alliance, I would certainly offer you my axe.
That is an honourable thing to do, Iamon. It will take time for me to summon the warband. Briccius, set that in motion, he says to his steward and chief minister. Iamon, we would count it a very, very positive view. We would count it very positively towards your desire for alliance, were you to offer us your support in this.
Yes, as I said, I will. Somebody can show me where these raids are happening. I will go there and take a look while you assemble your host.
Very good. See to this man's horse. See that he is rested. Tomorrow he will guide you to Wedrebi.
Oh, great.
Does anybody want to do anything that evening or not?
I finish packing my pockets with bread rolls and head out.
Yeah, you can never have too many bread rolls or apples. Well, in which Setia, anything that evening?
So the person that came in didn't give any real details about these raids.
No. Nothing at all.
I think I'm fine with that.
I think it will be certain, because you're sat in the body of the hall, and I think in the body of the hall there will be the whisper, "Saxons." Because who else would it be?
Yeah, I think we've got like a leg of lamb or something that we're eating, and I'm just pulling strips of it and kind of knitting them together, and just making like a really long string of meat, and then I kind of like put one into my and just listening.
Yes, did we tell the viewers that you are playing the Loon playbook? If we didn't,
Yeah,
that will
yeah.
make it clear why your behaviour is slightly eccentric. Okay, well, in which case, I'm going to cut straight to the following morning.
I assume that I get information about the abbey when I'm sitting there. They'll tell me what to expect. If it's just a tiny abbey or if it's big abbey with church and village and some stuff like that.
Sorry, my pronunciation is causing us a problem. It is the settlement of Wedrebi rather than
Okay.
an abbey. So the settlement, you can get this from the messenger who came from there. It's a farming and sheep farming, particularly settlement. About 2 days hard riding from here. And my working assumption is that you're going to take your friends with you. The reason that Tuka won't come, I think, is probably that the princess has had a word with her. And really, a lady such as she should not embark on this kind of adventure. Unless...
I think I'll ask her to stay here, keep an eye on things, because this might be a trap, and soften the princess and her father up further.
Okay, well, the following morning then at dawn, you'll be woken or will wake to find mounts available for both the messenger, who will be your guide back to Widrebi, and for all three of you. My guess is that Setia and Icinius are not great riders, so you'll struggle on occasion to make good time, but I am going to assume that you make as good a time as you can. Oh, Iamon's a well-known hero, folk hero practically. He can ride, he can do all sorts of things. It's well known. How else could he have pursued and captured and then killed the moonlit boar of Synhamm? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this journey quite sharpish to a montage of you riding across these hill and dale in the direction of Wedrebi. We've got time for one scene on the way if you want one. Is there anyone who wants a scene on the way?
So it seems that Setia and I are often trailing behind, trying to manage. I will often be pointing out to Setia just sights or just features that represent or are important to the old gods.
Like continuing kind of like that drip, drip, drip.
Yeah.
Setia, what's your reaction to this kind of this commentary on your journey?
I think feigned passive disinterest, but actually kind of listening intently to all the words and all this kind of context to some things that I've seen all my life, things of similar nature.
Have you previously understood the significance of what's pointed out to you? So the grove of oak trees, the ridged hill, which may have been a hill fort from before the Romans came, that kind of stuff. Have you understood the context for them, or just taken them as part of the landscape?
No, I've taken them as part of the landscape. So it's giving good context to that which has always been around me.
Okay. On the second day, your guide, whose name currently escapes me, but will come back to me in a moment. There he is. Dundek. The messenger is Dundek. He's the son of the headman, the local chief at Widrebi. And Dundek says we should push on today, because do you see that rise over there? if we can get to that, where Drebby's on the other side, we'll sleep. We'll have a decent place to sleep tonight. So unless you want to delay, you can get there at about just after dusk tonight.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, let's push on. I mean, I'm reckless, right? If this is a trap, I fight my way out. But I warn Setia and Icinius that it might be a trap and that we might have to fight our way out. So they should just cling to the horse. They will run if there's trouble. I've heard. I'll probably fall off, so you just hold on tight to the saddle, not the reins.
I salute her like warning with like a half-bitten apple.
It's him, actually.
I'm sorry, him with a half-bitten apple. Keep eating. Sorry.
The endless supply of apples. I expected it to be bread, but there you go. You're approaching up a slope thick with ferns and bracken, and a trail runs through it to the crest of this rise, and that's when you hear the screaming. And at that point, I'd like to cut to Ulfric. Ulfric, we left you, or you left us, when you departed from Daenham at the end of session 2 after the battle that saved Daenham. Can I just I should have done this before we went live, but it is fair to say that Iamon owes you a debt, because in your absence at the start of last session, we used your needle thread and splint move to help Iamon recover. So Iamon owes you a debt. You've been working your way north after Icinius gave you a picture or helped try to focus where he believed or where his vision suggested the thing that had attacked or killed, I can't quite remember, your sister. And you've been working your way north asking about great trees.
Yeah, great oak tree and something with white eyes was wanted to destroy
Indeed.
the kingdom of Elmet.
Indeed. And so you've been going from village to village, really, working your way north. And you've been earning your keep at Widreby for the last 2 or 3 days by just cutting wood and just doing labour, at this small Celtic community. And so you are at Widreby. And could you tell me what is the first sign that you have that the village is under attack?
It's a good question. People are running through the gate, like they've picked up their wagons and they're running full tilt. Everyone's running from like outside, because I think I was near the gate, and there's just people streaming in that would before 5 minutes ago occasionally coming and going.
Okay, and I think that what is clear is that there are a bunch of people pursuing. Let's say it's just at dusk. They were making their way in from the fields and where they've been keeping sheep, and they were making their way back for the evening meal, and suddenly they begin to run and they're being pursued back towards Widreby, which has a gate and a low stockade, but the stockade is designed largely to keep animals out rather than people. So this is a barely defensible picket fence.
Yep.
And what do you do?
Anyone falling over, I help them up and get them on their way, and I'm just sort of looking see what's coming, and helping anyone that
Okay, let's
falls
have you
over or gets hurt.
Let's have you roll to face danger.
Getting the innocent inside.
let's have you roll to face danger just to see whether you can just how that goes, how that looks on screen. Yeah. Can you see the roll for your party?
Oh no.
Hang on. The quickest way would on the moves tab. There's actually a link to it.
Ah.
But failing that,
Here we
you
go.
can cut and paste that.
Sorry, what am I rolling?
Face danger. So when you have to act in difficult circumstances or against opposition, roll plus steel.
Nothing. Okay. So. That would be 9.
9. On 7 to 9, I will give you a hard choice, I think. Do you want to save the woman or the child from the onrushing crowd?
As strange as this sounds, I'm going to save the woman because everything about his world is about what happened to his sister. So in his mind, it's happening again, sort of thing.
Okay, sorry, I've just picked up that message from Scott. We'll watch ourselves, Scott. If we can help, let us know. Okay, so you whisk the woman out the way, away from the gate, and the child is carried away by the crowd. You know not where, into the village, and it looks like there are other people coming over the stockade, over the fence around the village in other places. What do? Do you stay with the woman or do something else?
So are they like trying to kidnap him or just hack him to bits, or what are they doing?
I think you're looking about you then, aren't you?
Yep.
Which is roll plus sense.
Oh, 1. Okay, cool. Oh, 11.
Aren't you on a roll? So you can ask me 2 questions about the situation, circumstances, blah, 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 blah. Anything you like. What do you want to know? Well, you asked 2. Do you want to stick with those?
Are these Saxons or like Lindsay's men first?
No. You think they're Celts.
Oh.
Do you want to ask the other question or hold it?
No, hold it. I'm looking for some sort of leader, and I'm just going to go, come at me! Bang my shield, you know.
Fine. A classic Hammer of the Gods playbook move. Okay. So, as you come to the top of the rise, the rest of you, what you see is what's just been described. The attack seems to have come at the end of the working day at dusk. People were meandering back from their work outside the village, and then out of the trees on the edge of the cultivated space have come this attack. There is a sheepfold on the slope to your right going down to the village, and there is developing chaos in the village. So when you see that, who wants to tell me what they do?
I would tell you that there are attackers. They are attacking the villagers. The villagers are unarmed, right? And the attackers are armed.
Certainly, the villagers, part of the chaos will be villagers arming themselves as best they can.
Okay.
But yes, they are coming in from the field. So at the moment, the most they'll have will be improvised weapons. Everything from a shepherd's crook to a hoe.
This is a raid, right? I don't like that. I don't like that. Shouldn't do that. I'll try to get my horse to move faster and ride at the attackers, I guess.
Okay. Are you aiming to go over the fence into the village, or around the fence to the gate?
I'm aiming to stay on the horse, but where the horse is going is maybe not entirely in my control.
Well-
I'm looking for the fastest way to get to these attackers and let the horse handle the rest.
Okay, then I think probably the simple solution is to head for the gate. Setia, what do you do?
I'm actually following him.
Icinius?
I see distress down there, and I want to help the people, and so I follow.
That's fine. Icinius, Iamon has galloped down along with Dundek, the head man, the chief's son, who probably set off slightly in advance of Iamon without even thinking about it. What does Icinius do?
Being the master archer that I now am, I'm going to fire from the bow. No, I'm just kidding. From the horses. That was my bad joke. I'm going to get close, within bow range, and then hop down and fire from the ground, but from behind the horse. So like the horse is my shield, and fire into the kill all the bad guys.
That's quite a sophisticated set. Your nearest targets are in that. Of course I am. Your nearest targets, Icinius, are in that sheepfold over there, which is nearer than the village. Is that where you're putting your attention?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not being too daring with this. So.
Okay. Well, I think probably you want to keep control of the horse and fire your bow. I think that's probably quite
that's being generous. I'm trying to use the horse. I'm getting off the horse and trying to use it as a shield. But if the horse runs away, I'm gonna just be standing there. I'm not hanging onto the horse. Yeah.
Okay. I think the chances of it just standing still there, given your inexperience as a rider, is probably small. So I'm going to have it canter off, away from the noise, probably, leaving you with a shot at. Because it's dusk, it's quite difficult to pick out the targets in the sheepfold, but there are certainly people in the sheepfold. Do you want to have a go at them?
Yes, I do.
Fine.
Was Setia waving her hand to get our attention?
Setia, were you wanting our attention? No? Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's slightly odd, isn't it, when you don't have that automatic pop-up when somebody speaks, but we'll get used to it, yeah. I'm sure. I think that is fight. While I'm at it, I think probably we've not dealt with the question of whether you have a bow, but you can find the stats for a bow. Oh, no, you have added it. I beg your pardon. Yeah, fine. So you know the stats for a bow. I'm going to say that this is at far range. Yeah. So go ahead.
I don't know what far range means. But
well, further away than close. So you can either close on the sheepfold or you can shoot from where you are. You do less harm from where you are. And you're muted.
Got it. Yeah, it's like a disease. I will. Right now, I'm going to shoot from where I am and then move closer and shoot again. So.
Okay. So let's have you roll fight then, which is plus savage, I think. Ooh. Time for me to change the dice rolling room, obviously.
Yeah. I kill him.
It's a 10. So on a 6+, you inflict 1 harm on someone, and they will indeed spin away with an arrow. Where do you hit them?
I was aiming for his heart. I think I got his thigh.
Okay. And with a 10+, you can choose an extra effect. Gain advantage, it can be passed to another PC if you want. Inflict terrible harm. Suffer less harm. They're not trying to do any harm on you. You're too far away. Or you can force your foe to where you want them.
So what? Is any other of the group look like they're going in that direction towards the sheep people?
No.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. None of the other characters are heading in that direction. But all I told you is there are people in the sheepfold.
Oh, okay. But they're combatants, like the bad guys. I'm not right.
There's a raid on the village. There are people in the sheepfold. You just shot one of them.
Okay. So I will force them. Okay. So how does killing them, like, would one more shot, like one more good shot, kill them, or like I'm not sure how these rules
Okay.
work.
If you do 2 harm on a typical NPC, then the chances are you will take them out. You may not kill them, but you'll take them out. If you want to drive what that would allow you to do, you force your foe to where you want them. That might drive them out of the sheepfold. Do you see what I mean? If you took that option.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do terrible harm, the chances are this person's going to fall over. If you, instead of doing terrible harm, do 1 point of harm and choose to drive them to where you want them, you tell me where you want them, and I would drive them there. Okay?
Yeah, okay. No, I'll do terrible harm. Yeah, I'll do terrible harm.
And the figure falls down behind the dry stone wall of the sheepfold. There are still others in the sheepfold. I'll come back to you in a moment. I'm going to make Dundek, the chief's son, just ride into the village. Iamon, you are next on the scene, where there is a scene of chaos. Raiders are knocking people out the way. They're picking up stuff. They're running away with it. What do you want to do?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're raiders, right? So what do you do? I take my axe and I try to... Maybe I can... Hey, I'm on a horse. I could ride some of them down. I've heard from the scout. He told me that people do that. So I try that.
I love it. So yeah,
See how that goes.
There are still some streaming towards the gate, and so you're going to try and ride some of them down. I think that's probably doing something difficult. So let's have you face danger by rolling plus steel.
I think I might be able to do that. Yeah, I've got an 11.
And so the myth grows as you cut a sway through these people who are, well, you tell me, what do we see as you ride into this crowd?
I think we see Iamon shouting, like, get away, stop doing that. I mean, he's shouting louder and a bit more emotively than I'm doing now. And then he write down there's this really awkwardly big guy who is carrying, I think, a barrel of something. And he may be going away, who knows, but it's a barrel of probably something these villagers need for their lives. So Iamon's riding him down. The horse is just running over him as a well-trained horse. And then he's just keeping on riding. He's a bit wild about the eyes. He's not really a great rider, but he managed to keep his seat. And there is a bit of chaos, and these people, they are the raiders. They probably didn't expect somebody to come out from nowhere and then start riding them down. So they're a bit uncoordinated themselves.
I think, given the quality of that roll, yes. So we see the horse buffets people aside. The big guy with it goes down under the horse and is trampled. And other people begin to scatter away from the gate. And that's when you notice there are women among them. Setia, what do we see you doing? You're next on the scene.
And we were on horses. Is that? I just want to clarify. Is that correct?
Yes. You can happily get off it.
Yeah, I'm going to slide off the horse, and where I see those women, I actually start doing cartwheels over to them, and I'm singing like a nursery rhyme while I'm doing that, trying to trigger my what's what's it called? Capering fool move.
I think you caper delightfully. So do indeed roll plus soul
So
for
it's
capering
1.
fool.
All right. And I have no dice on the table. 2.
I can see some red dice of yours.
Oh, there they are. Thank you. Add 1. I got an 8.
So on a 7 to 8, 7 to 9, you have the option. You're either unimportant to them or you're no threat. What's your choice? And the one you don't choose means that you are important or you are a threat.
I'm going to go with no threat.
So you are important to them. They notice you, and they stop to look at this bizarre circumstance. Because you're not a young woman, are you?
No, I mean, to them, I'm old. To us, I'm probably in my 60s, which isn't old, but back then, I'm old.
60s is positively ancient. So the cartwheels, they just stop. And as they stop, and you see them stop, one of them's got a chicken under her arm. One of them's got a basket of eggs. That's what you see, and then you'll come to stop in front of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Meanwhile, Ulfric, you were clashing your shield and demanding a champion come to face you, as I think we left it. And let me know when you want to use your second look about you hold. But a man is coming towards you with a shield and a spear.
It's got a bit of lag.
Did you catch that?
No. He said, let me something.
Okay. A man is coming towards you, dressed as a warrior, with a spear and a shield. Okay.
Yep. It definitely looks Celtic, not Saxon.
Absolutely Celtic.
I'll say, show me your chief.
I am the chief Saxon, and he lunges at you.
Sweet.
Are you going to protect the woman who's still there, or fight him?
No, I'm going to fight him. I've already protected her. She hasn't got enough brains to run, and I don't want to get stabbed in the back. No, I'm going to take him out first.
So that's roll plus savage.
Steel. So this is plus steel, I guess.
No savage.
Yeah, savage. What is it? 2. Sweet. 11.
Yeah, definitely time for a change of room. So yeah, you exchange harm. So I can't remember what weapon your axe does. 2 harm.
Axe.
Yep. So you do 2 harm on him. His shield will take 1 of those, and his spear will do 2 harm on you.
But I've got a shield and armor.
So all of that will be absorbed. So far we have 1 harm on him. But you have the option for the additional effect. The moves are on the second tab if you want to check out what those are.
Can I, because I was thinking at some point I would get in a headbutt. Can I have him sort of stagger backwards?
You can indeed. You can put him where you want to. Do you want him on the ground?
Yeah.
Fine. So I think in the movie of this we will see you deflect the spear, so it glides off the armor underneath. We'll see the axe ricochet off his shield into his shoulder, and then he comes in close, and as you say, wallop, stitch that, Jimmy, and down he goes in a pile. Icinius, what do you do next?
So, I just want to confirm that I'm just not killing random people, that I'm actually killing the people that, not killing, but attacking the people that are raiding the village.
How are you going to do that?
At first, Well, there seem to be people running to the village, and then there's people that are coming in, stealing things. Right? That's what you said.
Yeah, and everybody who was in the sheepfold is now running to the village.
Okay. All right. Um, yeah, I'm going to look about me before I keep killing random people.
Okay, well that's roll plus sense, I think.
7.
So you get to ask me a question. What do you want to ask me that would allow you to just check that you're not killing innocent villagers?
How do the raiders um, appear? How is the dress of the raiders different from the dress of the villagers that are running in?
I think the challenge for you is that they are all dressed the same. They are all Celtic villagers. That's what's making this quite confusing close to. This is Celt on Celt trouble. So it's not obvious. It's not even that the attackers are particularly well armed, I must say. So what do you want to do on the basis of that answer?
I am going to cast a spell that um, makes me like not a target to anybody. So I don't know if invisibility is exactly the right thing, but just kind of I'm going to be overlooked by everyone.
Well, I tell you what then. I'll come back to you in a minute. Go down to the bottom of the character keeper where you've got the use magic effects, and I'll come back to you to ask which one of those effects you want. Okay?
Okay.
So I think probably we'll go back to Iamon now, who's, the stallion is up on the back legs, and people are scattering away from Iamon. What do you do next, Iamon?
Hoping that is not a stallion, but a mare, because they're more tractable, and I'm not a good rider, so no, please, no stallions. So, yeah, well, I'm looking for their leader, because somebody has to have command of this operation, right?
Then I think that's look about you.
Yeah, unless somebody attacks me. In that case, I will counterattack. But I have higher ground, though.
You have high ground, and you have cowed the people around you, I think, with that charge into them. So no one is closing yet.
Cool. So yeah, with sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look about you, sense. Come on. Okay, I've got a 7. It's bare minimum, but it's enough.
It always counts. So you can ask me a question. What? And the question was around where's the person in charge?
Where's the leader?
As you cast your eye through the chaos in the dusk, it's quite difficult, but you can see in the middle of the village, because you're looking from that height, you can see a man with a shield and a spear who's obviously directing people about. Is that a fair answer to the question?
Is that the raiders leader, or is that the village leader?
That, of course, is the difficult thing to know.
Yeah, but I was asking for the raider leader.
Yeah, and the best answer I can give you is that's what you see.
Okay, then I'll get...
I tell you what, you could delay doing anything else and see what he does, and that might give you a clue.
Nah, I'm reckless, right? I mean, there's a person, he's directing people, he's got a shield and a spear, and if he's not out here, then he's probably a bad guy, so I go and write him down.
And I think as recklessness is your temptation, I think you are riding straight at this man to crush him under your horse's hooves again. You can recover a fate point if you need to. Setia, I think we'll come to you next, because I think I'm very curious what's going to happen, because you and Icinius are the people outside the stockade now. What do you do, Setia?
So these folks were under some threat, and so I look about to see if there's a small outbuilding in the area, or any place that looks a bit safer than just here out in the open. And I point to it and say, get yourselves over to there. It's going to be safer.
Fine. I think you will see probably a cow buyer or something, some lean-to, about 50 paces away. And I think so impressive has been your arrival that I'm inclined to just have them do that. So these women carrying, a basket of eggs and run towards the cow buyer. Do you want to do anything else?
Yeah, and then to try to distract away from what they're doing, I'm going to Setia goes into a handstand and starts singing we'll just say a Christian hymn because it's the first song that comes to mind, and while upside down.
I can't resist asking you to roll for capering fool again.
And that was soul. So it's going to be +1. And I got a 9. So she is not a threat, but she is important.
She is a center of attention. So again, people who may have been doing something else have stopped doing what they were doing, be they raiders or villagers, and there's just this bizarre pause in the chaos around you as people just turn and look at you. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly what I wanted. So perfect.
Ulfric, you have downed this one of the few inverted commas properly equipped people you could see. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm gonna yell out. I failed your leader. This is foolish. Go back to your village. Let us see you no longer. And I'll bang on my shirt again and just say, I'm good. I'm ready for more.
Then I think probably this is an effort to convince people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't take the move that allows you to do that with simple savage fury, did you?
No.
No. Then you do that with subtle, which is of course Ulfric's key area of expertise.
Okay. 8.
Who knew? I think probably, given what you've just done, given what they've seen, that is sufficient leverage.
A little bit of lag.
Oh, I think that's sufficient leverage to deliver that effect. So people are beginning to stream away from you, away from the village, back towards the gate, through which Iamon has just charged. Yeah? Icinius, what do we see you doing next?
Is my horse within reach?
I don't think it is. I don't think it's well trained enough. I had it canter off. You were talking about a spell.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was going to be part of my spell if...
I think you will need to go and retrieve the horse if you want to do something with the horse.
Yeah, no, I will go stand next to a tree and do one thing that is beyond human limitations. I am going to...
What have you got in mind?
Jump up into the higher branches, and like disappear into the branches. So, I mean, I can climb up if I need to, but I want to like just kind of disappear into the tree, like look like the tree.
That's fine. So would you roll your soul move, which is 2d6 plus soul, and sacrifice a point of harm, please?
Yes. No. I rolled a 4, which includes my 2 soul.
Oh, right. Well, mark experience, obviously. So you take the point of harm for attempting it. And what I'm going to have you do is you do indeed get lifted up into the tree, and then the tree drops you. So would you take a second point of harm from the fall, please? Nature is not on your side this evening. Where am I? Eamon, you were charging through the village at the well-armed man with the shield and the spear.
Yeah.
Are you shouting and drawing attention?
Sure, why not?
So he has a chance to turn towards you. And
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably shouting just to get the horse staying the course, because I'm not doing something that I'm not used to. And I'm shouting anyway because it's good. I mean, ambushing him would be wiser, but I'm not a wise guy, and
you're reckless.
I'm totally reckless. I'm so reckless.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm reckless even.
And I think given I gave you a point of fate back, I think
I'm
I will have him turn towards you and set his spear in the ground.
Oh, well.
So
yeah, I'm not familiar with that technique. Or maybe I am. I totally am. I killed a boar. I am familiar with that technique.
So you're charging towards him. I think I have to have you face danger to stay in the saddle.
Yeah.
In the face of that spear point.
Okay. Let's see how that goes. Okay, I've got a 9. Is there a way I can burn a point of something? I don't think so. I won't use fate to get this better. 9 is fine.
Okay, so again, I think I'll give you a hard choice. You can throw yourself from the saddle in a controlled way.
Cool.
And land on your feet.
Yeah.
Or you can try to stay in the saddle and likely be thrown off in an uncontrolled way.
No, I'm getting off the saddle. I mean, if the horse is gonna die, I've never had a horse before, so it's not that important.
Okay.
Keeping my feet, I'm comfortable on the feet.
Okay.
Anyway.
So you leap from the saddle in an heroic manner, because that's the way Eamon does everything these days.
What?
Sorry, I'm just painting the picture that's going to be told.
Yeah.
And you land on your feet, but I'm going to give him a chance to get at you with the spear. So you've landed on your feet.
Yeah, but I was successful with my face danger, right?
You did. But what I'm saying is he's going to close with you, so you now have to fight him. Yeah?
Okay, cool. I'll fight him. Yeah, I'll got to roll for fighting, right?
Mm-hmm. Plus savage.
Yeah, I know, but let me see if I have a move that will help me here. No, that's not helpful. That is helpful. When you use a weapon to fight, you inflict more harm. Okay, not helpful. Hitting people. Got to hit him. Okay, so I've got an 8. That's fine.
Fine. So an exchange of harm means that I think your axe would normally do 2.
Yeah, but it does 3 because I'm well trained.
Okay. One of those will go on his shield. And his spear would do 2 on you. I can't remember what your protective position is.
I have a move that gives me +1 armor.
Fine. So you'll take 1 point of harm. He'll take 2 points of harm. Yeah?
I'm still at 2 point harm from from Danum.
Oh, sorry, you can reduce that by another 1 because you've had a couple of days of luxury at the King's Court.
And I'm staying at 2.
And Setia, that would apply to you too, actually. I've just noticed you've got one point of harm. So you take a point of harm. He takes 2 points of harm.
3. Oh, no, 2.
2, 1 on the shield, 2 get through. And I think probably you have the advantage on him. What do you want to do with that? Oh, no, hang on. Does your move give you something specific around that? And you get an extra 10 plus benefit even on a 6 minus.
Mm-hmm.
So you get one of those benefits from fight.
No, or I get the +1 harm. And I like the +1 harm at that point.
Oh, I see. Yes, it's an or. Yeah, beg your pardon.
It's an or.
You'd think somebody else had written the rules, wouldn't you? So fine. He is backing off away from you. and he bellows at you, "Damn raider!" And I'll
Oops.
cut there and go back round to where am I? Ulfric. Ulfric, people are now beginning to stream out of the settlement, carrying anything they can pick up.
I'm going to head in, make sure there's no sort of raiders running around inside the settlement.
Okay. Setia, you're outside, near the gate. People have stopped looking at you, and now they have divided into two. Some of them are running into the village. Some of them are running away to the village, away from the village. And you notice actually that the ones you sent to the cow buyer are running past the cow buyer into the woodland. It looks like they may have been raiders as well.
Interesting. I think I'm going to try to follow them.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to follow.
So you're going to follow the bulk of these raiders as they disappear into the woodland. Am I right?
For a bit, yeah.
Okay.
See if I can understand them a little better.
Okay. Meanwhile, Icinius is picking himself up from under that tree with the intention of doing what?
First of all, before we left from the city this morning or whenever it is that we left, I would have changed back into my swamp rags. So I'm back in my
traveling clothes. Yeah.
I see Setia following them. I'm gonna follow Setia.
Okay. Oh, that's fine.
I'm a little confused as to what's going on, and so I don't want to. I don't know. Maybe the raiders are actually in the right, so I don't know. So I'm gonna follow them.
Yeah, you're not alone in the chaotic situation that we find ourselves in. So
I don't think this is a fate recoup, but I'm just kind of leaning on my justice. Is like, how can I judge at this point?
Remember your temptation for fate. Oh, I see. In case you need to improve an outcome, I'm with you. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think then with Setia heading off, not in pursuit of, but probably merging in with, because people will have come out of the village behind Setia, and you're now part of a stream of men and women carrying anything they could pick up by the look of it. You know, somebody carrying a stool. That we've talked about people with chickens. There's one guy with a sheep on his shoulders. And they're heading into the woodland. And that's where Setia's going, and that's what Icinius has seen, and is following that crowd. So I think probably...
Let me clarify. I'm following at a distance. I'm avoiding contact.
Fine. You're avoiding the crowd, but you want to see where the crowd goes, the mob. Fine. Iamon and Ulfric, you are now in the village. It appears like the raid has petered out, in as much as everyone who was going to leave, it looks like, have rushed out over the picket fence or through the gate. Sabine, there's a man looking very angry at you. What do you do?
I look at him a bit confusedly and say, "Wait, you're not a raider."
No, you are a raider. And he goes to
I'm
attack.
not. Hey, okay, I've defended myself, but I won't attack him.
Do you want to say anything to try?
Yes, I want to say anything. I want to say to him that I have come from Elmet because there were reports of an attack. That Dundek took us here. Look, he's over there.
I think you just triggered powers that be.
Okay, then I'll roll sense instead of sensibility. No, the other one. Subtle, not subtle. Oh wow, 7.
So on a 7 to 9, I can't. You get what you need, but any failure will bring trouble. So I think the mention of Dundek, the mention of Elmet, the fact that he's not seen you before, all of that will give him enough pause for him to kind of not push through with the attack, and instead give you a moment. Yeah, I just want to then cut to Ulfric. Ulfric, what do we see you doing as this raid peters out?
I just got a little bit of lag. I'll soldier on. I presume you can hear me.
We can
I've
hear
got
you.
Cool. I've got a needle, thread, and splint move. So insert montage of me binding up a bunch of people's wounds. I can roll if you want, or we can just say I'm doing that.
I think it's always worth making you roll, because if you fail, you gain some experience. So I think it's always worth doing that and seeing whether you kill anybody else.
Okay. 7.
I can't remember what the move says. Hang on. You choose one. Stabilized into. Yeah, I think that's a success. And to be honest, there are some wounds. There are people. What about the guy you put on the ground with a headbutt? Is he on your list for help?
No. What's happened to him isn't my fault. That's his problem.
Didn't do it, wasn't there. Okay. Fine. Then let's cut to Setia then, because it sounds like things are calming down in the village. I want to see what's happening in that woodland. They are heading approximately eastwards along an indistinct but passable trail, Setia. How far do you want to go before are we talking about 15 minutes, 30 minutes?
Yeah, I think maybe about no more than 30 minutes. But listening to any chatter that's occurring, I assume that there's some. I assume that some people are talking. And none of these folks look like exceptionally armed or anything. That was correct, right? They seem like
villagers. Improvised weapons, clubs, a scythe, a hoe. And I think you're looking about you, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I want you to roll, and if it goes very badly, maybe people notice that you're not one of them. Does that seem fair?
Yep. And sense is 2. I'm jealous of everybody's 11s and 12s, but we'll see what I get. I get an 8.
So on an 8, they don't pick you out because clearly it's still dark, but it feels like they know where they're going, and this is not an unfamiliar trail, to be honest. So they don't spot you as an outsider, and you get to ask me a question. Or, as it says here, you can choose to add a detail to the scene that changes or enriches the fiction, or ask me to do so.
I think I want that option. I think that may fit better than some of those other options in this situation. So let me see if I can do it. I can't because I don't know what's going on, really. Let's leave it to you to enrich the fiction.
I mean, if yes, just shift that responsibility. Just to give you the option, you could create some fiction here if you wanted to. That would give you a little bit of a touch on the tiller of the story.
Okay, yeah. So maybe I see somebody who maybe looked a little. I think I see someone who looks a little less certain. Maybe they've got a slight guilty tinge to their look, and I just sidle up to them and I ask, "Are you okay? You seem shaken by what we've done."
I think that's neat because it allows them to say to you, I just don't think we should have done it. Whatever he said, this just seems wrong.
Yeah, I have my misgivings as well. Maybe he's not who he says he is. What do you suspect?
A giant is a giant.
It's true. It's hard to... Yeah. Well, I feel the same way. So you're not alone, just so you know.
And there's a pause, and she looks at you and says, "Who are you? In this dark, I can't make you out."
No, I can't come up with one of those wackadoodle D&D names you're using. But we established that they were Saxons. Was that right?
Celts.
Celts. Yeah. So I'll use a more common woman's name, and say, I'm so and so's daughter. Maybe you just haven't met me. Or no, I'm so and so's grandmother. I tend to stay to myself, but this seemed important. But now I'm not so certain.
I think that's enough for her to say, "Oh, yes, yes, all right." And we'll probably later on think, "Whose did she say?" But for now, I think she'll disappear off down the trail with the others. Do you want to carry on or stop?
I'm going to taper off as best I can.
Okay. Icinius, you followed in the growing dark. You followed the mob of raiders into the woodland. There's a clear path that they've just made wider. They've trodden down undergrowth, all the rest. And I think probably you will encounter Setia on her way back. Do you want to do anything with that?
Setia, I'm very confused by what happened. I think I'm not sure if I attacked an innocent man or not.
I'm very confused as well. I need some guidance. I need to talk. Let's go back. Perhaps Iamon can make some sense of what's happened.
Did you learn anything from being up ahead?
I think I did. I think so. It's troubling. It's frightening.
I stop and yes, what is it?
It seems that they were instructed to do this action by a giant.
Is there like a history roll or something?
I think probably that is a good commercial break point, because I'm conscious I've run on a little bit longer because we were a bit slow getting the session going because of the technology. So what I'm going to suggest, by me it's 24 minutes past the hour. Would this be a good place to take, shall we say, a 10-minute, just bio break and a hot drink, and be back in our seats at 25 to the hour? Okay? Okay, I shall see you then.
Blake, was that last time on Hangouts or on whatever? There's a StreamYard.
Yeah, last time I played with you guys, because I played last week and that was fine.
Yeah, it was Hangouts, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident it's to do with StreamYard, because my guess is it doesn't have the kind of resource for whatever priority access on the internet looks like, or boosting signals from servers somewhere. So I guess what I'll do is I'll watch this back and make a judgment. I'm not running a game now until the middle of the first week of August, I think. So I'll watch this back and make a judgment about whether this is doable or not. And just how disruptive it is. I suppose I'm vaguely surprised. Alejandro, are you getting any lag or any freezing?
No, none at all. It's all been wonderful.
Yeah, you're just too far away, Blake.
Maybe scoot your chair a little further to the east, or maybe to the west.
Okay, and we're back in the room. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to cut to after the raid. I think they'll in the middle of the village, people with torches, moving around assessing the damage, and the man you almost rode down, Iamon. I've added him to the Places and Faces tab. He is Gitto, the father of Dundek and the hard-pressed chief at Wedrebi. So just as well you didn't kill him. I've also, the only other well-armed man in this raid is the one that you headbutted to the ground, Ulfric. And I've also added him because you didn't tell me you finished him. So I've got him wounded and recovering. And he is Salutus, the headman of Beres Hold, which is a village, a settlement, about 10 miles to the east. And I think probably it's at the point when that becomes clear that we have Setia and Icinius come back into the village, with Gitto saying to Iamon and Ulfric, "But I know this man. I've known him most of my life. He lives not 10 miles away." He's still unconscious, is Salutus.
And did his village have a bad harvest or something like that? I mean,
no worse than ours. No worse than ours.
Okay.
Setia, do you have anything to say when you go back to this conversation?
Yeah, you know this man?
Yes, he is. He's the chief, the head man at Beres Hold, not 10 miles away.
I believe that they're being influenced by an outside force. There's no other explanation why your neighbors would turn on you suddenly.
I don't understand why they would turn on us. We have lived in harmony for generations.
I overheard one of them mention a giant who instructed them to come this way and raid.
I think
that sounds lovely.
Giant?
Sorry.
It frightens me as well.
Oh yes, it sounds very scary.
What should we do?
We should wait for this guy to get.
Well, we need to make sure he's okay.
To come back to consciousness and ask him what's going on. And then we go and slay the giant.
What
Can't
did
be
you
too
say
hard.
your name was? He says to Iamon.
Iamon, son of Ulfric.
Not Iamon, the killer of the moonlit boar.
Yeah, it was big.
With with great power. And so I think we'll then cut to this man, having a bucket of water thrown on him and coming round, propped up against a wall of a hut.
Can we say hello to Ulfric, because I imagine he's standing there as well.
I'm sorry. Yes, I allowed no time for a happy reunion. Please have that scene.
Yes, please. And I look over to you and say, Ulfric, long time since we've seen each
Yeah, it's getting the hang of fighting raiders in small villages.
Good to see you. So,
yeah, you all right? Is Icinius with you? Mispronounced his name. Icinius, sorry. Is Icinius with you?
You're all there.
Oh, excellent. And I'll bow. I'll get on one knee and bow in front of Icinius. I'm glad you're well, blessed one.
I hand him an apple.
well,
So
Yeah.
the raiders didn't seem competent. They didn't seem very soldiery. Do you know what's going on?
You're breaking up a bit for me, Sabine. Do you want to say that again? Ooh.
Oh no, we lost Sabine.
Maybe she noticed and she's going to come back in.
I would like to turn my attention to Setia and say, I think we might be able to find this giant, and I would like your assistance.
How can I help?
I pull out the little piece of fabric that held the spike balls. I pull out, and then I just I grab Setia's hand, and I just assume Setia is going to agree, and I grab her hand and I start looking for a secluded spot that would allow for a small ritual.
Setia, you go.
Yeah, I'll. Okay. I'll be back.
I've been doing some natural history. I think that they are horse chestnuts, which have a very spiky outer casing, now bloodstained. But we'll see what happens shortly. I'll just check in, Sabine. Were you getting some freezing from your end, or was it just us seeing you freeze?
No, I dropped out totally.
Okay, well, good to have you back.
Yeah.
So I want to deal with that in a moment. I'd like to deal with a conversation between Ulfric, Iamon, and the headman Gitto, and probably his son Dundek, who will equally be speak for you. They have come from the king, father.
Before you do that, as we're leaving, I'm gonna put my hand on Ulfric's shoulder and commune with him, just we're gonna do business. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just letting him know what we're doing. He'll either get it or he won't, but that's what I do.
Okay.
I'll bow deeply. I have complete faith and trust in him.
Yeah, that never goes wrong. So let's have that conversation between the headman, his son, Ulfric, and Iamon. What's the gist of that conversation?
Yeah. First of all, I want to know why Ulfric is here. Actually, not in a questioning why are you here, cop kind of way, but hey, I'm glad to see you. What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm glad to see you're all well as well. Yeah, I've been working my way north, trying to find the person that attacked my sister, and yeah, it's led me here, and yet there are more raids.
Huh. It's strange, though. Well, would you mind helping us against whatever's going on? I mean, I hear there's a giant, and I'm happy to go and fight a giant. I'd be happier if I had somebody at my side who knows how to handle himself.
I'd be honoured to fight by your side again. Your fiance not here?
She is not my. Well, anyway, she is back in Elmet, talking to the king and doing the mission thing with the alliance and the whole diplomacy
She's well
stuff.
and safe. That is good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know, but she can handle herself.
It's excellent. Okay.
Helen looks quite shocked. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'll say to the leader of this village that they look more like villagers. They didn't have armor. They didn't have decent weapons. They didn't. Obviously, hadn't seen a few fights. They didn't seem very well trained. What's going on?
I don't know, but let's ask that fellow. I didn't notice, to be honest. I was on this horse, and well, I've ridden before, but not often. So it's more concentrating on staying on horseback. But I'm telling this to Ulfric, not to the village leader.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, he saw what he saw, which was you sliding elegantly from the saddle as you avoided his set spear. And that is the story he will tell of when he was lucky enough to survive a confrontation with Iamon, killer of the Moonlit Boar. So then I think we see the bucket of water thrown in Salutus's face. And he comes to... Blood has streamed out of his broken nose thanks to Ulfric, and he's buffeted and dazed. What are you wanting to know? I suppose. How does this interrogation play out?
I'm just going to stand there looking at him, smiling.
I think that's leverage to convince. If anybody wants to go any further with that. Gitto and Dundek will defer to you, for you, Iamon, are an envoy from the king.
Cool, yes, let's talk to this guy.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm supposed to, okay. Great. Hey, Salutus, I guess your name is?
That is my name.
You're raiding this village, and King Elmet sent us here to find out what was the trouble, and not asking you what's the trouble, why you're raiding these people.
And his eyes drop, and his head drops, and his shoulders drop, and he looks up at Gitto, and he says to Gitto, I had no choice.
Yeah, why? Was somebody forcing you to attack this village?
He said he would take the children next.
Okay, and that's a giant.
Yes, Grond. Grond, the giant.
Grond, okay.
Do you know of him? And
no.
There's terror and fear in his face.
I just say, what does he look like?
He is a giant.
How big is he, really? 2 men, 3 men, 5 men, 10 men?
Three times the size of a tall man.
Oh, okay. And I'm looking at Ulfric and like, we can take that, right? Yeah, we can take that.
I think, and what else do you want to do anything else with that interrogation?
Yeah, where is it?
He said he would come to the village tomorrow, and so we had nothing left to give him but the children, so we came to take what we could, hoping it would be enough.
I just look at Eamon and say, I can give him my axe.
Yeah, I have an axe of my own I can give him.
That seems like seen to me on that, unless you've got anything specific you want to do.
I would later on ask Ulfric if he might do his healing stuff on the scratch I've taken. It's not much, but try,
Well, let's tie that up now. We'll cut from the interrogation to the two of you in a hut, in torchlight while you stitch and sew, Ulfric, if you're willing to.
Yep, 7.
I can't remember the move. On a 7, you choose one. So go ahead.
Oh. Jeez, that's rough. Well, the bottom one, so heal 1 harm and stabilize, but the patient is disadvantaged until they're treated properly. So I'm not very good at this.
It's designed for emergencies, I think. Okay. So can you make a note of that, Iamon? That you need to get better treatment than that. In fact, I mean, on the basis of that, do you want him to proceed?
No. I think maybe we'll just leave it with the bandage here, and you can maybe stop trying whatever you're doing. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'll hand Eoman some mead, and we'll
yeah.
see.
Yeah.
I think
that's fine.
I think
mead is all the healing I need, really.
I think it's when he spat on the needle before setting about stitching you that probably you said, no, it's okay. Okay, so let's cut to outside, out of sight of the village, just on the edge of the woodland, I guess, would be a logical place to be. What do we see there, Icinius?
We sit down and we grip hands with that seed in our hands. If possible, I want to mechanically do it this way. I want to lead Setia in conducting the ritual. So Setia will be conducting the ritual, meaning I want Setia to roll the dice while I take the harm.
Okay, so let me just think. So what I'm imagining then is that you make the blood sacrifice, but you instruct Setia, yeah?
Yeah.
So Setia will roll plus soul based on your instructions, yeah? And can you tell me which of those magic effects, because I think last time we used summon something into the world as a way of connecting to the old gods.
We're doing in the mind of the monster right now.
Oh, I'm struggling a bit with... Oh, hang on. You have whispers in their mind, don't you? So when you read people's thought to try to put ideas in their mind, you roll as normal to look about you. Okay, right. I think we can have Setia roll for look about you. Whispers in the mind allow you to connect to the powers that be and ask a question of them. Yeah? Does that seem fair?
Okay.
Yeah? Because you don't have to make a blood sacrifice unless you use magic.
Oh, I see. Okay. In this case, I want to be a conduit. So can we allow Setia to ask the question?
Fine. Yeah, that would work. So you cast the spell in effect, but you're using whispers in the mind to make sure she sees everything you see, and that's the connection. Okay?
Yeah.
So do you want Setia to roll the dice or not? Because it will be plus soul for this. Whatever look about you does. But we'll treat the outcome as look about you. She has soul 1, you have soul 2. You cast the spell, You can look about you in the other world. You can channel that to her, and she can ask the other world questions.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So I think then roll plus soul, Icinius. Give yourself a point of harm. I see you've done that. Off you go. Ooh, you're just muted.
So Sisha's doing the roll because I am leading her.
Okay, so Sisha is rolling plus your soul.
She's still muted.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Sisha is rolling plus your soul then, because this is your magic.
Okay.
Yeah? Off you go, Sisha. Roll plus 2.
It's an 8.
So, Sisha, how do you perceive the other world? Because you are now looking through Icinius's eyes into the other world. We know from the previous description of how this looks to him. Does it look the same to you? Do we see this conduit coming up from him into the ether, and the other conduit connecting his shoulder to you, or do we see it differently from Sisha's point of view?
Yeah, we don't see the tendrils indicating the connections with the other world. Instead, we see flying about us and between us butterflies, and in the butterflies are some obviously fae and whatnot.
Fragments of the other world. Fine. Yes. These little spirits. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So what question do you want to ask?
I would like to ask why a giant would be concerned in the affairs of 2 small villages.
Okay, I think that the answer that comes back, and as lots of tiny voices, just slightly out of phase, slightly disturbing, but I think the answer comes back because he has been commanded to by the old woman of the woods. Okay?
All right, great.
So what are the two of you going to... Because Icinius is the channel, he will hear the answer, though how he perceives it may be different. What do we see the two of you doing with this information, or do we just close out the ritual there?
I think it's frightening. I'd let go. That's yikes.
I don't let go. If you I hang on. If you pull, then that's fine. But I try to hang on.
Yeah, I'm pulling. I've many a tale of Theresa Mays in the forest, and growing up. So I'm frightening. So I think I'm trying to pull away.
I say, as you say that, as you do that or whatever, as you pull away, I let go of the seed and you take the seed with you. So and I say, the old gods trust you. They allowed this. They still trust you. You're strong.
Are you trying to convince me?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Or call in a debt to get an advantage on convince?
I think he has a debt.
how does convince work? I don't have my paper. Oh, I guess I could look at the moves.
Well, normally you would roll plus subtle to convince someone, be they PC or NPC. But you have a debt of 1 with Setia. You hold a debt of honor of 1. If you cash that in, it would give you +2 to convince, plus whatever your subtle is. So do you cash in the debt?
I do. My subtle is -1.
So. So the way you do that is that you reduce the debt to 0. Setia, you will have -1 somewhere for Icinius. That goes to 0. And you are rolling convince at +1, Icinius.
Okay. There's no way to pull in an advantage into this or anything?
Don't think so, unless you've got a move that does it.
I have a mouse move. Okay, no. So 2 dice. Oh. Okay, I rolled an 8.
Okay, so on a 7 to 9 with convince, 7+, they mark experience if they do what you ask. Yeah? So what exactly are you asking Setia to do?
I am asking Setia to accept me as a teacher in the old ways.
If Setia says yes to that, she will gain experience. If she does indeed, then, and I will expect her to demonstrate that kind of pupil-teacher relationship. What say you, Setia?
I think at that point, Icinius overstepped the relationship, just overshot the request, and a seed of doubt is there as to whether I should do this, and she's not now. This isn't the time.
I smile at you, and I think there's my face relaxed, like this tension just kind of lifts from Icinius's face, and he says, "Okay, we'll talk about it another time."
That's neat, I think, and that is seen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Unless anybody wants to do anything else now, I'm going to cut to the following morning and ask you what you're doing then. Okay? So, dawn comes up. The chaos, clearly, people just stole anything they could pick up. As I say, stools, baskets, any food that they could find, and they just disappeared with it. So what are you going to do the following day?
I'm gonna turn to Icinius and ask him if he's still got food.
I didn't hear you, Sabine. I'm sorry.
I'm turning to Icinius and asking him if he's got some food.
Yeah, I have lots of bread rolls.
Good. Then we can break our fast and then go to Bede's village, whatever it was called. Bede's Hold, I think.
Beer's Hold.
Beer's Hold.
So, cool. I'm tempted to cut to you arriving near Beer's Hold, unless there's something you want to do.
I like that.
Okay. So it's a village not unlike Widrebi, except there are no sheep in the fields. The crop has been harvested early. The village has a run-down look about it as you approach.
I'm sorry. I got carried away with the Setia scene, and I forgot. Like, when we return, I would have told Ulfric and Iamon about the old woman commanding the giant.
Fine, thank you for that. So you look down. It's only 10 miles away. It's half a day's walk, and you've got horses, so it's a matter of an hour or so. And you look down on Bear's Hold, and it looks pretty run down. What do you do?
Did we take Salutus or whatever his name was? I think so.
I'm very happy for you to have taken him. It'll slow you down a bit, but maybe he's on the back of the horse with Icinius or you or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
we'll say, where does the giant live? Sort of look for the directions, look for tracks.
And Salutus will point beyond the village to a forest. And he'll point in there.
Ominous creaking. Okay. Then let's go see. I mean, if he's a giant, he should leave some tracks, right?
Well, I think the question is...
Muted now.
Oh, thank you. I think the question initially is, Salutus will say to you, don't hurt my people. If someone must pay, it should be me.
No, if someone was paid, it should be the giant.
So is your
after he says that, I hand him an apple.
Thank you.
The universal sign of friendship from Icinius. So he could point very precisely to the point in the forest where the giant retreats to when he's taken stuff. And what will have come from him on the journey is that the giant came about a week and a half ago and just started slaughtering the animals. Then he killed the priest. And then he started taking anything that was portable. Not just wealth, but even old bits of furniture. And then the day before yesterday, he came and he threatened that he would come back today to take the children if they had nothing else.
So he always comes in the daytime?
At the end of a day. Yeah? So it's mid-morning now. So what's the plan if there is one?
And my plan would be go find the giant, hit the giant until it drops. Unless anybody's got a better plan.
That sounds good. I'm thinking this thing's sleeping, and then it sort of gets up, oh, I'm hungry, or oh, I'm bored, wanders in the town, does what it wants.
Yeah. Looking at the other two, if they have any more subtle plans, probably not, but...
Well, if you tell the giant very funny jokes and tickle him or her, she may laugh herself to death.
Setia, I'm not that good at telling jokes. I tend to get lost in the middle.
Just an option. Keep an open mind.
Yeah, I keep an open mind. Thank you.
And Salutus will say, may I go down to the village?
Sure.
And so you release him to go down to the village, and he walks slump-shouldered down to the village. What are you four going to do? Straight to the forest edge.
I start walking towards the forest, and then if they're not following, then I just turn and wait, like a little slightly confused.
Yeah, head that way.
Yeah, we go that way.
On the horses, or do you just tether the horses here? It's about half a mile.
No, we've got horses. Why not take them?
Okay, so I see you on horses at the edge of the wood, and I think I have a picture. And you know, I do love a picture. Let's see if I can find it. Hang on, there it is. Yeah, I've added faces and places. That's what you see when you look in to the forest.
Looks so cozy.
Well, it's actually pretty widely spaced trees. It's perfect. No, not much underbrush. So
So
this is good. This is good territory.
You would be able to ride in there if you chose to.
Yeah, exactly.
And I do love in a game that isn't D&D to say, in which order do you enter the forest?
I might lead unless somebody pushes me aside.
I'll say this place is like my dreams.
Okay.
I know where I'm going.
And
I've just got some sense of,
okay,
following my dreams, because that works well.
Yeah, I'm following Ulfric's dreams.
Hey, can this be part of Enlighten Me, because I'm following my dreams?
You lost me a bit. Oh, enlighten me. When you ask for inspiration from your gods, you can use that soul move whenever you want to pay the price.
Yep, I'll do that. Because
So-
it's like the god's been feeding me hints by the dreams the whole time, sort of thing, and now it's like, oh, this is what they're talking about.
Do you want your soul move to be powered by fate or harm?
We'll go with fate, because I'm sure there's a chance I might get harmed in this battle.
So reduce your fate by 1, and when you ask for inspiration from your gods, roll plus soul.
One, okay. Ah, 9.
So you learn of a task you must complete that will reveal a key fact or clue that will help you. Let me think. I think that the task that you must complete is to defeat the giant. And that will provide with greater enlightenment.
I'm going to challenge it to chess.
So you make your way into the forest? Yeah, okay. This has a location move called Dark and Foreboding. So what I need you to do is for each of you in turn to roll plus steel, please. So in order that I can see you, Setia, do you want to roll plus steel?
Not really, but I mean, I will.
Just to humor me.
Yeah. 0. So I did pretty good. I got a 3.
Mark experience. You are disadvantaged until you leave the forest or demonstrate your bravery. Okay? And disadvantage, roll 3 dice, take the bottom 2. Ulfric, what about you?
4.
I knew this dice room would come back to bite you soon. So, mark experience, you too will act with disadvantage until you do something to break the foreboding that lays like a cartwheel around your shoulders. But mark experience, as I say. Okay, what about Iamon, killer of the moonlit boar?
Oh yeah, let's see if I'm impressed by forest. I mean, I've read Trophy, but Iamon hasn't. No, he hasn't. I've got a 9.
Okay, on a 9, choose one that is true. Oh no, sorry. No, you proceed as normal, but cannot be advantaged until you do something to demonstrate that you can suppress the foreboding you feel. And finally, Icinius.
Did we recuperate any harm from the previous night's rest?
No.
Okay. And are we rolling with advantage?
Rolling plus steel. 2d6 plus steel. Whew.
10.
Has no effect on Icinius at all. Another one, and the forest would be afraid of him. So keep those in mind, please, because I will forget. So you make your way deeper into the forest, and soon you come across a rocky outcrop with clearly a cave in it. What do you do?
My roll was 11.
No, I was joking about it's threatened to you. You're fine. You do not feel any sense of foreboding, neither advantaged nor in any way disadvantaged. You can have advantage whatever you like. Okay. So what do you do in sight of this?
I'm gonna pray to, the various pagan gods, and so sort of kneel down and just make a prayer, and I'll get up and look at Icinius.
I'll throw a rock into the cave while he's doing that.
Okay. Always one for action.
I don't want to go into the dark cave to fight something.
Okay, always one for action. I've added Grond to the faces and places because that's what comes out in response to you throwing stones at his home. In his right hand, he drags a great half-tree trunk club, and he looks at you through beady eyes and goes, Who does what?
I speak. I say, I take like a half step in front of everybody else, and I say, Child of the earth, why do you torment these people?
I want to defend Icinius if the giant is doing anything.
If the giant comes at him, I'll assume that you will move to protect or whatever.
You're muted.
Mute giant.
I'll assume you'll move to protect at any point he's threatened.
Whatever it is.
The beady eyes focus on you, Icinius. What do you want?
I want you to return to your home and leave these people.
This is my home.
Why do you torment the people, the villagers?
She told me to, and I will. And at that point, he'll rush at you.
And at that point, I'd stand and I'll rush at him. Maybe I'd rather attack him than defend, actually.
Okay. So I need you to face danger to get under that club.
Cool.
Which is...
Me or Icinius? Yeah, me probably, right?
Oh, yeah, Iamon. And unless Icinius starts charging at him, but I'll come to Icinius in a moment. You were all primed to go.
Yeah, I'll roll plus... I've got a 13.
Then you duck this great club as it swings across. You duck, and then you can fight him. Go ahead. And then I'll ask Icinius, Ulfric, Setia, in that order, I think is probably the logic.
Okay, come on. Yeah, that's cool. I've got a 10.
Okay, so on a 10, you would exchange harm, but you've got under that club. I'm going to not give him any harm on you at this point. We'll see what he does next. So you do, is it 2 plus 1?
3.
3.
I'll take the 3. I'll take the +1 from my move, and I also get the 10 benefit, which is I will give advantage to Ulfric, I think.
Oh, fine. So what does that advantage look like? Describe what your attack does to Grond to open that advantage for Ulfric.
Yes, but I believe I'm at that point. I'm not on horseback anymore.
No.
So I'll just slide under his club, duck and weave to the side, and then slice him across the knee. Yeah, let's get him on the knee so that he gets to stumble, and obviously he'll be pretty much concentrated on me and Icinius. So that should be enough to leave an opening for Ulfric to attack maybe the other knee.
Yes, his tough skin will protect him by 1, but that's still 2 points of damage to that leg, and it wobbles slightly, and he kind of looks down at you, which I think is probably the opening Ulfric would be waiting for. So Ulfric, what do you do with that opening? Because you roll 3, you roll with advantage. Oh, you're still disadvantaged.
Yeah, I have disadvantage at the minute, so just regular roll.
Yeah, and if you succeed with this, you will no longer suffer that foreboding effect.
Yeah. Can I jump off a wall or jump off his knee and get him in the back of the head?
You can. If you want to do anything but engage him, I'll have you face danger, which might give you advantage.
I'll just attack at this point.
Okay, fine. Off you go then.
It's okay. And it's with savagery, so 7. Hang on, sorry, 8.
So exchange harm. Because he's distracted. I'm not going to inflict any harm on you yet. But you get in close and you do. Is it 2 points of damage? 2 points of harm.
Yep, 2 of the axe.
Okay, one of those is absorbed by this leathery skin, but 1 gets through. I think probably Icinius. You see this happen. What do you do? Unless Setia wants to rush to the front.
Is Setia rushing? No.
Setia says, "Hey, big guy, you're probably safer somewhere where there's not people with axes and swords and things attacking you. Maybe you might want to just, I don't know, leave now. Now would be a good time before you die. I know that you're a big, strong, giant guy that is a big tree you have there. But, wow, they hit you pretty hard. You might want to run away. That's what I would do."
So is this convince?
Thought.
Is this convince?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm struggling to see the leverage. What's your leverage for why he should listen to you?
2 guys with axes.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. I suppose, whether he's got enough brain cells to deal with 2 guys with axes and think about what you're saying to him, we'll see.
Right.
Go ahead, roll convince.
And convince is subtle. 1. All right. 7.
The 1 counted. So on a 7...
I have advantage.
Right.
Hold on. So I add another die and take the 2 lowest. Is that correct?
Why have you got advantage?
I have disadvantage.
Oh, yeah. So you roll another dice and discard the highest one.
All right. I'm going to add 1 more. So I got a 6 now.
So you fail, mark experience, but you did get his attention, and he's ignoring Iamon and Ulfric and charging at you. Icinius, you are marginally in between the 2 of them. What do you want to do?
temporarily trap someone or thing as rocks just before him just kind of just move a little bit to get in his way, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, so mark harm for use magic, and do your thing. You're not rolling with advantage or disadvantage. Go ahead.
Is it possible I take the harm? Because when I pray, the gods are like, "Yep, you're going to fuel the mystic," sort of thing.
I think in a ritual where you're sat round, I might let that happen. But I think in this circumstance, Icinius is on his own.
I rolled a 12. So, okay.
So go on.
What I wanted, oh, okay. So because I have hex, he accidentally does harm to himself. 1 harm.
Fine. So let's have him stumble, and bang that already damaged knee on a nasty rock. So we'll give him a point of harm. I won't take account of his armor because I think it's the gash in his knee that you've exploited, and I think that slows him down. Yeah. So Setia is not in immediate danger, but she is still his point of interest. Round we go. Iamon again. He's past the pair of you now, you and Ulfric. What are you going to do?
Perfect. He's rushing past me, that stupid git. I will attack him from behind. I'm not that honorable, and I mean, it's perfect. Yeah. I hope that I hope that I fell him and that he doesn't fall on Setia.
And if you did have disadvantage from the foreboding, it's gone because of the successful attack.
No, so I don't have. I can't have advantage, but that's
fine. Normal arrangements have returned, whatever they were. So go ahead.
I'm foreboded. Great. So I roll just to hit this big ugly thingy, and I have an 8, but I'm spent a point of fate. I want to kill this thing, I'm spending a point of fate here to push it up to a 10, a success, and I'll do the same thing as before. Give Ulfric an advantage because I believe he's close to me and he can attack the giant from behind as well.
The axe slices into the other leg's hamstring. You would normally do 3 points of harm.
I do 2.
2. But certainly that's enough to pass that advantage to Ulfric. What do you do with the advantage, Ulfric? His back is to you. He's stumbled forward.
Yep, it's not elegant. I'm just going to try and run up and axe him in the back. We got to be quick because...
Go for it.
10 for attack.
Have you got the options in front of you?
Gonna find. Can I find that one? Fight. Here we go. So 10. Inflict terrible harm. So 3 minus whatever armor he's got.
Fine. That extra 2 pushes him into unstable and takes him out. Do you want him dead or not? You have the option. He's bleeding out, but...
I think I'll look to Icinius and, do we finish him off?
I say no. He's being tormented by an old woman. She's the real danger here.
Yeah, but that's the point where I don't care. I'll just chop his head off. I'm a monster hunter, and that is what I do.
I get in front.
Don't get in my way. Don't get into my way, Icinius.
Fictionally, you don't have the positioning for Icinius. You're between the giant and Setia. both Ulfric and Iamon are behind the giant. So Iamon finishes the giant. Yeah. No roll. He's out of it. And you have a trophy to join the head of the moonlit boar on your wall at home.
Nice. What? I don't have a home.
Synhamm. So the giant is dead. Now,
Search the cave. I'll say that out loud.
it's less a cave and more a place where two rocks, two great chunks of granite, abut one another. So what looked like a cave is actually just almost a shelter. 20 or 30 feet on, it opens into the forest again. And there is very little in the way of booty here. There are the rotting corpses of some sheep, but this doesn't look like a village's worth of booty. It doesn't look like all their animals. It looks like enough animals to keep him fed, but that's it. And beyond the cave is a pile of debris, which is all the other stuff he took. So stools and benches and tables and pots and, cooking pots. Everything else he took is there. But frankly, it's hardly treasure. And
Look for something we can carry other stuff in and
let's tell the villagers. Let's tell the villagers where the stuff is. They can come and get it.
Let me just follow up on your enlighten me. Because what it said was, you learn of a task you must complete that will reveal a key fact or clue that will help you. Yeah?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I think you've fulfilled the task, the giant is dead, and so it is very clear that beyond that pile of refuse is a trail through the forest that the giant has regularly taken.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll pass that on to all of them.
What do you do?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. What was that?
There's a tread.
Sorry, go.
Go ahead, Setia.
I was just for Sabine, there was a path that led into the woods. It seemed like the giant traversed it. If we follow this, perhaps it leads to the Lady of the Woods. However, it feels like a cold path to me. Maybe we should go back.
I look to Setia so that she can find another champion and continue tormenting the villagers.
Yeah, I think we should follow the path. Find the witch. Deal with the witch.
2 monsters for the price of 1.
Oh, well.
And I'm going to say a quick prayer, so I'm going to do my trust my gut.
Go ahead.
And I still have disadvantage, correct?
Until you succeed at something, yes. So
Okay.
if this goes well...
Plus soul, which is +2. No, +1. All right. Let's see. 4, 5. 5. Mark experience.
Mark experience. God doesn't want you to go any further.
This is not a safe path.
That's why we are traveling it, not the villagers.
Could I tell that it was a Christian prayer? Like, was there a cross?
Yeah, I have my cross in my hand.
Yeah, I go. Your God is a coward. The old gods.
Icinius, please stop talking down our God. I'm not saying your gods are fake or weak or anything. Please stop insulting ours. That is not fair.
Anyone want to call in a debt on Icinius to stop him?
No, I'm just asking him to do
Okay.
it. I'm not calling it that. I'm just
I
saying that.
already said it. I don't need to say more. I look at Ulfric and I start walking down the path.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
that's
say, look, if we don't do this, the danger will escalate to the village.
Mm.
I'm going to follow Icinius. I would like both of your help. But if you can't come for whatever reason, fair enough. And then I'd turn and follow Icinius.
yeah. I was never a doubt that I would go.
All right, so I think Iamon, he convinces me, and I think that's a trade-off of the debts, right?
You
So-
anticipated my thought.
Hmm. Cool.
My nephew, I will go to ensure your safety.
So Icinius is the first, I think, to see what I'm putting in the character keeper any second now. Yeah. That. It is a peculiarly familiar tree, Icinius. When Ulfric follows you into the clearing, Ulfric, Icinius described a certain great oak to you. What he saw in his vision. This is that oak.
I make eye contact with Ulfric and then I look back to the tree.
Yep. I'm gripping my weapon and I'm looking around very carefully.
You're all looking at that great oak tree.
You're muted, Alan.
So I am. I just want to check in. Because we were about 15 minutes late kicking off, is there any chance we can stretch this to 15:15 the coming hour?
Yeah.
Just to
I'm
give me a
fine
little
with
bit more
that.
headroom. Is
That's
that
fine.
okay?
Can I have a minute just to put up the light because it's getting dark here?
Yeah, by all means. I mean, would it be sensible to have a 5-minute bio break now and then just play for another 40 minutes? Or do we not need it?
I'm good.
I would not mind a break, just a couple minutes.
Okay, let's have a quick bio break. By me, it's 36 minutes past the hour. Shall we be back in our seats at 22 the hour? Yeah.
Perfect.
Did you catch that, Sabine? We're going to have
No, I came back.
we're going to have a 4-minute bio break. Back in our
Oh,
seats
cool.
at 22. Okay.
Cool. Yep.
So, Alan, I'm curious if this tree is some metaphorical representation of Brexit.
I mean, we really should have some kind of boat-related rope to be cut while people desperately cling to the side of the ship.
We're in the ship now. Why are we in
No,
the ship?
no. Alejandro was wondering whether I was trying to weave Brexit metaphors in here, right? Okay, so we're going to play for another 35, 40 minutes, if that's okay with you, if we need it. So this is absolutely the place that you saw in your vision, Icinius, when you sought to find the source of the thing or whatever it was that killed Ulfric's sister. It matches with what he described to you, Ulfric. You can't see it in the picture, but it's rooted in a great mass of enormous granite blocks. So it's above the clearing, if you will. And I'll tell you for nothing now that the base of the tree, on top of these rocks, is littered with the decaying remains of what are probably the rest of the village's animals. Okay?
Can I just clarify? There's no people taken at this point. It was
No.
just animals.
No, it was Gron's threat to take the children today. Yeah. So, what do we do?
The first thing I would have done, like after doing eye contact with it and going and returning my gaze to the tree, I want to do in the mind of the monster.
Fine. That's fine. Which is I can't. It's one of your moves, isn't it?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Uh, 9.
So on a 7 to 9, hold 1. Spend holds to ask a question, gain advantage while acting on the answers. Where is it now? What is it now planning to do? Who, what is it going to attack next? Who, what does it regard as the biggest threat? How can its attention be attracted?
What is it now planning to do?
Your answer may be affected by this, Alan. I'm
Go.
going to go up and hack at the tree with my axe.
Okay, so Ulfric is walking into the clearing. Yeah. Then what is it planning to do? I think the answer to that question is defend itself. Icinius.
Okay. Okay. Because I want it gain an advantage while acting on the answer. Can I know how it's going to defend itself so that I can give that advantage to Ulrich?
That is a fair point. And I will give you some sense of that now. Let me think. Insert image in that cell. Where is it? As you approach the vision, I've added it to the tree. Among some of the carved granite blocks, you see the face of an old Celtic woman. Ulfric, so I'm clear, the roots are up a height. You'll need to clamber up the rocks to get to the roots. Yeah, or the base of the tree at least, where this debris of animals are. But I think the way I would interpret this is that you have advantage, Icinius, against her. Because for our viewers, peering out from between some of these carved rocks, which are probably blood-stained from blood that has flown down from the animal sacrifices above, is an old woman with apparently blind eyes. So, Ulfric, you took the initiative. You were heading for the tree. Given what we now know, what will you do?
Yeah, if she doesn't say or do anything, I'm still going to try and drop the tree down.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I do.
But I'm not.
I do.
Yeah.
I immediately I say the woman in the rocks, and I gesture towards the woman in the rocks.
I'll say, did you send the thing to kill my sister?
She will, those blind eyes will peer out at you, and she will go. She releases a feral grin upon you and steps out into the clearing, leaning on her stick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before Ulfric does anything, I want to know from Iamon and Setia what they're doing. So you've seen Ulfric set off towards the tree and pause slightly when Icinius says, the old woman. What does Iamon or Setia do?
I actually wanted to look about myself because hitting a tree with an axe, yeah, that can work in the long run, but maybe there's a weakness or something.
Look about you. Roll plus sense.
Yeah. See how that goes. Yeah, wow, 11.
So you have hold 2. Ask me a question. Or create a bit of fiction, or ask me to do so.
I have 2 hold. Well, yeah, what I want to know is what's the weakness of the tree? How can I kill it or her? I mean, the giant said her.
I think the weakness of the tree is her.
Okay. And how do I kill her? Can I just... Is she a normal human thing, or...
I think based on looking about you now, you can only infer that she's the frail old woman she appears to be. I don't think you have enough information, really, unless you can give me a bit of fictional positioning to give you more insight than that.
Well, I have 2 hold, right?
Yeah.
I can use my other hold to remember the story. So that stupid scout told me.
Okay, no,
about
that's
a witch.
Fine. There is a wolf's head carved. One of the carvings in the rocks around the cave or the space she's just come out of is that of a wolf's head. And that is sometimes associated with skin changers. Okay. Which means that there could be more to her than a simple old woman.
Then okay. I will communicate this to Ulfric. I say, oh, be careful, she might be a skin changer.
Setia, what about you?
Did you point that symbol out to anybody, Sabine? Iamon?
I think Iamon.
Yeah, I guess.
I approach the tree and I pull out my my little knife and I begin carving into the tree. Actually, 2 symbols. One a cross, and the other one of the symbols that I've seen in the visions with Alejandro's character with Icinius.
Okay, that's your intention.
You
have to get to the tree, get to the rocks, clamber up the rocks, get to the tree. But now I know what you're going to do. That's fine. So I think that Ulfric, you are still point on this. You've been given this information by Icinius and by Iamon. What do you do?
Well, since she made no effort to sort of claim ignorance or innocence, I'm thinking she's a threat, and I'm going to go for her, not the tree.
Okay. What do we see? Is this a berserk charge? Is this a cunning approach? What do we see?
Well, I'm sort of calmly walking towards her, but I'm sort of shaking with rage as it's building up, and I'm remembering everything that's happened.
And despite the fact that she is clearly blind, she's tracking your approach.
Yeah, I don't believe the blindness. I think that's all rubbish.
So,
I expected treachery.
Okay, then fight her.
$11.
So, you tell me what happens.
Last second I sort of swirl the axe around and then overhead chop. I'm not expecting it to go well, but that's what I'm going to start with.
Go on then. So how much harm, and how do you use your extra effect? Because she doesn't defend herself at all.
Yeah. I'm thinking regular, so 2 points of harm, but you force her, so I'm thinking she moves to the side or gets knocked to the side or whatever, but it's at a place that one of them can, it's easier for them to get at her. So she didn't think about where she was dodging to, or
I think you can put her where you want to, or you can create an advantage for one of the others. That's what that sounds like, one of those two options.
yeah, I give the advantage to Eamon, return the favour.
Fine. I'm going to go to Icinius next, because he did say that he followed Ulfric into the clearing first. So, Icinius, is there anything you want to do?
The second seed. Remember, I had 2 seeds, and Setia has one of the seeds. The other one I put in my mouth, and I say with this spiky seed on my cheek, I say, "Strike true, Ulrich," and as I empower his weapon with a +1 harm.
Okay, so you take the harm,
and that's for the scene. Yes.
Yeah, so you take a point of harm, and you cast that spell. So let's see how use magic goes.
Nine.
It still works, but I tell you what went wrong. What went wrong is that the effect is weakened or of short duration. So you're going to get 2 blows out of this, Ulfric, and then the effect will go. Yeah? And just so I know what's going to happen next, Iamon, what do you... Because I know Sisha's on her way to clamber up the rocks.
I also have Hex, which adds an effect.
No, the way Hex, it just adds to the number of options you have. So you've chosen the effect, which is empower a weapon. Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
It's not an extra, it's a broader range. So, Eamon, what are you going to do?
Well, I think I'm going to follow Ulfric because, I mean, we faced the giant together, we faced the raiders and the other raiders, and yeah, come on, at that point in time, I'm just willing to... I remember that this is probably the one who killed his sister. Now, do I understand that when he hit her, his axe couldn't harm her?
No, it did 1 point of harm.
Oh, okay. Then I'll hit her. I mean, I have advantage now.
You do have advantage. So roll the 3 dice, take the top 2. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah, okay. So I've got 11.
Okay, so that would be 3. 2 of those have an effect on her. So there's something strange going on here.
And I have another option to choose from. And come on, let's play around a bit. I'm giving advantage to Ulfric.
Fine. And Sisha, you are at the base of the the rocky outcropping, so you'll face danger to clamber up there now.
Perfect. So I'm going to clamber up towards the tree, kind of oblivious to the rest of what's going on around me.
Okay, so face danger is steel, I think.
Yep. And one of these days I'll get rid of this disadvantage. But it will not be today. So steel is 0, so it's a straight up 4.
Okay, so I think you will mark experience. And I think probably you are wandering around the base looking for a place to get a clamber up. You know, you're not a sprightly young woman.
Yeah, I just keep sliding. I keep trying to pull myself up, and it's wet, it's damp, it's mossy, and I just keep sliding.
It's almost like someone's trying to keep you away from it. So Icinius has acted. We're back to Ulfric. But what I want to do is as you're, I take it, Ulfric, you're going to attack her again. But she's almost ignoring you. And instead, she looks across the clearing at Icinius and says, boy, you need a teacher. What do you do, Ulfric?
I'm going to attack her, but can I do it like it with a back of my axe? Because I want to knock her out.
Harm is non-specific. So when you take her out, you define how you took her out.
Okay. Just as well. 10.
Fine. So that would be 2 points of harm. 1 gets through, but you have the bonus effect. What do you want to do with it? We're going to pass the advantage back and forth, or?
But he also has the +1 harm that I gave him.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, so 3 points of harm.
Actually, I should have counted that into the previous attack as well, so I've marked another one off.
Pass the advantage back.
Okay. So I think you've done about 6 points of harm have got through. Where are you hitting her? I mean, are you just battering around the head, trying to put her down?
No, body, because I've got this idea that she's like a tree, and you've got to get the trunk. The rest is a waste of time.
Okay. She's not bleeding as much as you might have expected. And Iamon, as you wind up to, I assume again you're going to attack her. As you wind up to attack her, you notice her face is changing. It is beginning
I was afraid of that.
to elongate. So go ahead, hit her.
I'll hit her on...
Fight.
Fight, yeah, because, I mean, at that point, I have advantage, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Fight, yes, same thing as before. I'm at 12, so I'll pop the advantage back to Ulfric. Or maybe, let me see if I can do something else. Fix double the normal. No, that's not an advanced move. You force your foe to where you want them. I think I want to have her back into her cave, because if she grows to werewolf size, we'll be disadvantaged. And if she's in the cave, that will make it easier for us.
Fine.
And also, she won't be able to see Icinius. Have a clear line of sight to Icinius, which at that point I don't like the idea of her mentoring him.
Okay, Icinius. I notice that your powers, the old gods, you owe them a debt, don't you? That's why it says -1 next to your powers.
Yeah.
There's a whisper in your ear that says, do you honor the old gods or not, boy?
I do.
So they are going to cash in that debt. And the way they are going to do that is they are going to have you hinder the attacks on the old woman. Do you accept the debt being called in? Okay. So you refuse a debt of honor. Roll plus subtle.
Six total.
Oh, honor 6. My goodness me. You must either honor this debt, or I will pick from a list of effects for you, including mark fate, debt increases by 1, your honor is publicly questioned. And I'll tell you now that I'm inclined to mark fate and increase the debt. Or you are unworthy of debts of honor and erase them all. So
I reject the debt, so, or I reject, like, I honor you. That's why you guys are just wrong about what the honor is.
okay, So what I'm going to do then is increase your debt of honor to the old gods from -1 to -2, and mark a point of fate. Yeah?
Yeah.
The old gods are not happy with you, Icinius. Meanwhile then, she's driven back into the cave, and in the cave you will see that the transformation completes.
Do I get a move, an action, as I didn't?
No, that was them calling it a debt on you. Yeah, I'll come back to you in a moment.
Okay, got it.
I just want to, because it took me a long time to find this one. I need to make use of it. So I have added what she is becoming. Setia first. Do you get to the top of the bloody thing this time? It's delayed you, but you are now at the foot of the tree. What do you do? You talked about symbols, but I didn't catch the detail.
So before I do my initial action, I kind of take in the tree and see if now that I'm closer, if I notice anything different or any kind of insight comes to me. So basically, I'm looking about you.
Okay, I mean, I will describe something
Which
to you
is
that you've
plus sense.
Okay, go on, and I'll tell you something for free, and then you can ask me some more questions.
And -2. Four.
Have you not gone up in experience yet? So
I just did.
Right, okay.
I now advance.
Well, mark experience, and what I will tell you is the base of the tree. It's buried in rotting sheep's carcasses, and you can see roots growing through the carcasses. There's a stench and the buzz of insects that are crawling through and over and flying around this mass of bone and blood and guts. You can have that for free. And what I think I need you to do is to roll to face danger as to what your reaction to this horrific scene is.
Steel is 0. 4, 3. So I do not face it well.
No, I think that you back away from it and slip back down into the clearing.
I think just looking at it, I start not even aware, backing up, and actually stumble, sliding down that face of moss and roots and ground,
and end up in a heap at the bottom, retching perhaps. By all means, check your playbook for a move you might want that could make a difference in the next 10 or 15 minutes. Iamon, sorry, I said I'd come back to Icinius. So Icinius, the old gods called in your debt. You've refused that debt of honor to the old gods. What are you going to do?
As I spit more blood onto the ground, I am drawing my bow and arrow, but most of my attention is at Iamon as I say, strike true, Iamon, and I empower her weapon with a +1 harm.
Sadly, the old gods will reduce the debt from 2 to 1 and don't answer you.
Is that a thing, or
that's a thing? That your debt goes back down to -1 and they refuse to help you. Okay?
Okay.
Iamon, you drove her back into the cave. I'm going to give you first option on what you do as this wolfish head lunges towards you.
I think what I want to do is I want to protect Ulfric so he can strike true.
Okay, so sorry, are you going to fight it in the hope you can create an advantage?
I'm not that good at lip reading. Sorry.
Are you going to fight it in the hope you create an advantage you can pass to Ulfric? or are you going to go?
Yeah.
Or are you going to wait for him to act and protect him? Oh, now you're muted. Yes.
Oh, I'm muted.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. No, I think I wait. I'll leave him. I'll leave the blow to him because this thing killed his sister, and he should be the one to slay it.
Okay, Ulfric. It lunges out towards you, claws and teeth. What do you do?
Sweet. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and duck and hack from the side. I've got the +1 harm thing. This is the last attack. So,
Go for it.
I don't have advantage for this roll, do I?
I don't think you do, because I think that Iamon used it to put her somewhere rather than to give you advantage.
So yeah, 10.
So go ahead. Tell me what's what with the whatnot.
So 4 points of damage.
Ooh. So that
And
becomes
I think
3 for the
I think this is the last +1 harm. That you
Yeah,
got.
I'm including all that. So 4 points of damage all up.
yeah. And what is that with the do increased harm
Yes.
option?
Yep.
Fine. Okay. She's still coming at you, so you will take where are her jaws?
I wanted to protect him.
You
Please.
did. Go ahead.
Okay, let's see how that goes. This was savage. Oh,
Get
well.
down, Mr. President.
Yes, I have an 11. I'm sorry. Let's see what that does. I think I protect them by taking the harm, but I suffer -1 harm.
Okay.
Wait, no, I also inflict harm on the as established on the enemy. That's even better.
So let me take that in steps. So the maw is closing on Ulfric, and you interpose yourself in the way.
Yeah.
You would take 3 points of harm.
And can I reduce that by my move, duck and dive?
You can use duck and dive. You can use shield.
Cool.
Anything you like.
No, I don't have a shield. I have duck and dive, so I take 2. Ouchie, and I will then cause harm as established, which means that I do 3 harm.
Fine. Goodness me. To get through. Icinius, you can see this going on around the cave entrance. Are you thinking about whether you need to do what the old gods say? Or are you staying on the other side?
No, I'm going to insist on the same spell I tried to cast last time.
Okay, let me come back to you in a moment when I Setia. You've stumbled to your feet. What do you do?
Gathering myself in the semi-confusion, looking over, seeing what's occurring. I try to see the pattern. My new move.
Fine, go ahead.
Yeah, that's +6. Hey, I got a success. So I no longer.
So you're no longer disadvantaged.
I got a 10.
Oh ho ho!
Wow.
So on a 10, hold 3, and ask the GM. Take your pick.
So the first one I'm going to ask is, what does the old woman in the woods want from this area?
It suddenly becomes clear to you. Salutus told you that one of the first things that Gron did was to kill the priest. Then he drove the villagers to start raiding their neighbours. So I think it's clear that what the old woman is trying to do is to destabilise Elmet. Perhaps destabilise Christian Elmet. Okay?
All right.
Next question.
I'm just writing that down. Is Icinius more connected to current events than they say?
Yeah, I must alter these questions so they're not such closed questions. How is Icinius more connected to this?
Yeah.
Icinius is wanted by the old gods. The fact that he's behaving now slightly oddly, you think that something about when you had that ritual with him, the old gods said to him, bring her and the others to us. This is about bringing Christians to the old gods. And that old woman is a representative of the old gods.
Sure.
Third question.
And then I think I may know the answer to this one, or at least have summarized it, but how does this event connect to the bigger picture? It sounds like the old gods are trying to attack Christianity.
I think you're on a winner there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Well spotted, the broad front that is at work. Okay, Icinius, you said you're going to cast a spell again. They will call in the debt to stop your powers again. So the debt you owe them is now 0. They have burned those debts. So honor is even. But we come back to Ulfric. What do you do?
Let me ask real quick.
Oh,
am I still taking damage for trying to cast these spells?
I'm afraid you are.
Oh.
Because the damage you have to do before you try. But nobody's listening. No one's accepting the blood sacrifice. Do not piss off the old gods is the message that they are trying to get through. Ulfric, what do you do?
Oh no.
So the werewolf thing is jumping on Iamon at this point?
Eotenweard put himself between you and it.
Because I've got a never again, and I protect someone, I get a 10+ naturally.
Yeah, it's just we'll get wrapped into a protect if we're not careful. So you struck it tried to strike you, Eamon protected you, you didn't take any damage, so you can't protect him from protecting you. Yeah?
Alright, well I'll just attack it then.
Go on then. I'm going to mute you, Sabine.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Fantastic. 6. It knew I was coming. I'll point out I'm unwounded, so bring
Sabine's
it
disappeared. Sabine's disappeared. Has she disappeared from your screen? Oh, here she comes again.
She's sad that I'm.
We thought you'd done a runner. Okay, so
no, I clicked on that stupid duck icon just to see if that gave me more options, and now I'm
that'll teach you.
Move me to another page.
Ulfric, you failed miserably, and so this time the claws will rake across you. The bite will this time get to you. You go in close. She takes you. That's 3 harm. I think you've got a shield and armor, which will take 2 of them. 1 point of harm will get through unless there's something else I haven't thought of.
No, that's right. That does take me up to 5 experience points. So I don't think I get an advancement.
Well, by all means, check the playbook out. Let's see what we can get in the next 5 minutes. Sorry, I'm just wittering on. Don't mind me. So I think we're back to Setia.
I think I try to approach Icinius and say, you must be cautious here. You are in the gravest of dangers. I am concerned for you.
What's your reaction, Icinius?
I am staring at Eamon's weapon, and I am determined to enchant it. And blood is like streaming out of my mouth.
Fine. I don't quite know what your harm position is. It's getting a bit hairy, isn't it? Oh my goodness me. You are unstable. Egad.
Oh, then I think I maybe do some first aid-ish. Or my...
Yeah, sadly, I don't think you have a move that works, do you? You'd need to take him to a place of safety and get him to rest.
The healing general move doesn't work.
Well,
Oh, he's over far,
he
harm
is.
5.
So
Yeah.
he now needs rest, really, away from this. And my inclination is to say that I don't think he's going to walk away.
Sounds that way. Damn.
So he is, I think, determined to get this friggin' spell off. So they don't have a debt to hold over you anymore. So you can force them into a corner. Yeah?
Yes.
So go ahead, Icinius.
I just scream and blood spittles like splurts out of my mouth, and I just say, Iamon, strike true.
And you're gonna empower his axe. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
9. I rolled a 9.
Oh, so close, so close.
You can spend a point of fate to push that up to 10.
You can.
Oh, that's right. I was planning on doing that. I was gonna spend a point of faith. Yeah.
And I would go with that because I think you are trying to poke the old gods in the eye. You are going around them to the very power of nature.
Yeah.
And so, Iamon, strike true or not?
Of course, I mean, I think I don't see how badly hurt Icinius is because I'm focused on my enemy. But if he shouts strike true, okay, well, hit her then because, I hit her.
So it is just so you know, it's a +1 for the duration of the scene, and then I just fall backwards.
Where Setia will catch you. So what does all that do, Iamon?
I think I don't really see that because I'm focused, as I said, I'm focused on my enemy and I'm rolling my dice. And oh yes, that was clear that I would roll a 5 now, but I'm using fate. I'm totally using my last point of fate to strike true because that was what Icinius said, and I don't really much care about my own personal safety here. No, I'm not going to make Mark harm. It's my last fate point as well. Nice. But I have a 7 to 9 result then with fate. So I inflict harm on one another. We inflict harm on one another.
She would normally rake you with her claws for 2 harm, but your duck and dive will take one of those.
Okay, cool. Nice. So I do 3 harm. Yeah.
And she falls to her knees.
Or wait, I'll do 2 harm and give advantage to Ulfric because I still think that it's his enemy.
Yeah, you've done your best for that, but he keeps fluffing the killer. So let's see if Ulfric can finally put the thing down. She's on her knees.
Yep, that's a 12.
And how would you like to dispatch her?
Yeah, axe straight down there.
And the head falls into the clearing. Yeah?
Yep.
And as the body,
it lands next to my body.
Yeah, I'm tempted. And the wolf's body crumbles to dust and is blown away on the wind. And each of you has a whisper in the ear, and it says, "I'll be back."
Do we see like some of the blood from the wolf's head come out onto Icinius?
I think that it scatters over Icinius. Both you and Iamon and Icinius, and I think Setia, who is cradling the dying Icinius, is sprayed with this blood. What happens next?
Oh my god, I noticed that Icinius is in a bad shape and I'll shout out, no, and rush to the side, of course, and see what how he's doing, what's going on.
I pull the bloody gourd seed out of my mouth, and I hand it to Setia.
Who could do something to save Icinius's life?
Well, I've actually got a mending thing.
However dangerous it is.
Can I pray to our sort of mutual gods while I'm doing it?
You can. I'm just looking at whether anybody has any move that could help you out here. I'm not seeing one, but maybe you do.
Well,
I spend fate or whatever, or
oh, you can always burn fate. Oh, but have you already used your fate?
I've used 2 points total. I may have been counting the wrong way.
Fine. So you've got one. So let's roll the dice for needle, thread, and splint, with the option to spend some fate, because the trust that you and Icinius have developed gives me perfect fictional positioning.
Can I help with the help? Is there a help?
The help move. Gosh, why have it if you don't use it?
I got 11.
Well, I don't think we need the help, actually. Clearly, you stabilise the injury and heal 1 harm. So, Icinius, you drop from 8 to 7, and you become stable. And now all it will take is time. Yeah?
I think I look up at Ulfric and I smile, and then I pass out. A bloody, gory smile, and I pass out.
And in terms of guardians against the monster, you have just guardianed against the monster. I would just like a brief epilogue from each of you. Just for clarity, Ulfric, whatever killed your sister is still out there. You've killed one embodiment of it, but it's still out there.
Yeah, I'm thinking his nightmares will continue, so on some level he'll know that.
And so what do we see him doing
He'll
in the closing credits?
He'll patrol that village nearby at night, and he finds himself looking at the moon a bit for whatever reason.
And we could have a conversation in the next game about whether anyone would like to play the Skinchanger, but we'll come back to that one. Okay, thank you. Who wants to be next for an epilogue?
So we see Setia sitting by the bedside of Icinius, wiping head, and then cuts to her entering her hut, but with her cloak pulled tight about her, looking around, almost scared, and knowing what can be out there now.
Thank you. Iamon or Icinius?
Eoman.
Okay, I can go. I think what we see of Iamon is simply the return, more or less victorious return to Synhamm, where he gets into the hall and gives a report of what was going on. But he's looking and he's looking around all the time while he's telling this. He's a bit unconcentrated. He's not very concentrated in this. And then at the end, when he's finished, and the king is saying something probably very important, that's when Tuka enters the hall, and you can see that Iamon does not look at the king at all.
So he only has eyes for Tuka. And Tuka enters the hall in the company of Princess Manugia of Elmet, who has been, as part of the alliance that you have forged, is coming to spend time at Synhamm with the Lady Kaya Delvia, who is known to be a great Christian lady. And last but
Hey.
not least, Icinius.
So we had the flash of Setia with Icinius in bed, and then we saw her. Then we go back to the bed, and the bed is empty. And then we just see on the doorstep of each of the characters of the PCs respective doorsteps, or what would be equivalent to their doorstep. There's an apple.
Yeah, I think we probably see Ulfric coming back to a campfire, and there's an apple. Setia gets up in the morning, and there's an apple. Because I think Iamon is probably sleeping in the Great Hall now, and there on the nearest bench is an apple.
And it's and also Tuca.
Oh, of course, mustn't forget Tuca, because we still have an entire subplot of Tuca. The haft and the blade have yet to come together, and so I think we're done. Oh, thank you for that.
Alun, I thought the princess was going to be the witch in the woods. I thought you were going to throw that twist in at the end. It was like, oh no.
Well, let's wait until we meet her and have a better conversation with her. No, thank you for that, and thank you for going that extra mile for time just to get that in. It took us a little while to get going. Have you got 5 minutes for Roses and Thorns?
Sure.
Okay, so in character keeper order, can I start with Blake? Blake, any roses or thorns?
Yeah, it was all good. Everyone, I had a sort of clear idea of what everyone's characters was, and they were all different. They had their own sort of story, and it's good. I'm quite curious about where sort of they're going to go from here. The system and the setting worked fine. Nothing's aside from the technical problems, which happens to everybody. Yeah, it was all really good. I'm looking forward to see what happens next. Thank you all very much. I look forward to playing with you all again.
Well, I mean, it was a godsend, really, that you were at that place in the waitlist, Blake, because it was much easier to just roll you straight into the action than it would have been with someone coming in entirely fresh. Particularly as I think it was Will, and his favoured character is a Hammer of the Gods. I couldn't have dealt with two of them. So no, I'm just really grateful you stayed on the waitlist, friend. Okay, let's go along the list to Scott. Roses and Thorns.
I'm going to give a rose to Alejandro for really just the entire Icinius character, and the arc as it played out in this session was pretty nice to see. Thorn, less of a thorn, more a comment. I think you're moving further and further away from Monster of the Week, so it might be time to stop calling it the dark hack of Monster of the Week. Because structurally, you're not running it like Monster of the Week, where it's like investigate, find out how you beat the thing, and then do it. You really do have kind of almost your own system here. And
real roving shadows.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a bit of a lunch from other systems, but which is great. It's this is not a thorn, as I said. It's more of a comment. So,
thank you for that. I'm beginning to think that as well. I have to say I was quite pleased with the way Debts played out. I think there might be some mileage in that. Needs a bit more work. Sabine, Roses and Thorns. Roses or thorns?
Roses mostly. More roses to all of you for being these amazing characters, and I love the way Icinius went to the whole mile with his conflict with the gods and said, no, my friends are more important. I will serve you, but not at any price. That was really something. And I loved seeing Blake again. I mean, I love Tuca, but I also love Ulfric. And my aunt, I really, really want her to be in some better place than in her stupid little hut. And at the end, maybe we'll get to see that. Yes, and Alun, as Scott said, this is less Monster of the Week. It has more of a more campaigny vibe with the whole political situation and the whole stuff with the old gods who are scheming and other stuff. That's quite amazing, actually. I like it. So that's not a thorn at all.
No, I think you're right. I think it may be time for me to stop calling it a Dark Age Hacker Monster of the Week, because, yeah. Anyway, and finally, Alejandro, Roses and Thorns. Roses or Thorns?
Roses, yeah, Blake really seamlessly just it came in. I mean, you were already in, but it was satisfying. Um, I really like that scene. I like the 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 conflict that I'm pushing within Setia, but just that's fun, and I really appreciate you doing that with me. Um, Eoman, uh, I love our relationship, and I really appreciated when you called me out on that Christian the God attack thing. That was good. Um, and Alan, the gods, like using the gods against me. Um, like I really thought that Icinius would choose the gods, but no, he didn't. I mean, that was just kind of like in the moment, and it was the like right, and that was really satisfying. So, yeah, I don't care what you call this game. It's a fun. I really like the system a lot. Yeah.
Well, you've got all the play materials, so feel free to make use of them. Yeah, no, I'd endorse that. I think the whole what's going to happen to Setia is the next series. Frankly, I think
Yeah.
that's inevitable. I was very pleased to be able to tie the loose ends together because I had in mind the tree when Ulfric came into the story last time. I just didn't expect him to be here for the end. And yeah, Iamon and Tuka, we have to see more of Iamon and Tuka. And yeah, how Ulfric now tracks down this exactly, because it looks like the old gods that he's been revering might be at the root of this. And yeah, who knows what's going to happen to Icinius? I kind of see him as a priest sometime soon, but there you go. So with that, I will stop streaming. So wave goodbye to the internet.